Hi, YouTube fans. This is Matt of Post-April 6th YouTube channel. This is part 4. Yep, part 4. We're going to continue what was going on in 2012 and go from there for the next 28 to 29 minutes. Okay. On June 17th, 2012, I was hired at Sonic Drive-In located on East Isle of Trenton. I did food prep and was a crew member that did I don't know, I should say ALOT, but I said lot of helping with cooks, car hops, and managers. On July 13th, 2012, on my 39th birthday, Dad took me out for lunch at Gunther Tootie's, a 50s throwback diner. It was for those of you who know Denver well, it was the Gunther Tootie's that was on Leachdale Drive that is long gone. But back then it was there and it was happening. And before we left the apartment, Dad petted Milkshake, and she loved the attention, and my dad finally realized she was a cute, adorable cat. Wait a minute. I almost skipped something. Yeah, here was where misfortune happened, but I didn't like the place anyways, and it was, as the saying goes, in the cards. The fix was in. August 28th, 2012. I got fired from Sonic Drive-In for ridiculous reasons. And it was just as well I didn't like the place that much. Late November 2012, I was in dire straits financially, and I made a call to talk with my dear old father about coming back to living with him. He called me the following Sunday, and he said that he was going to send me a check. I'm not going to say the amount, but it was a check that helped pay the rent. I mean, it successfully helped me out. And it was a good thing. I had enough money from selling things on eBay to add to my financial resources. In order to afford paying $678 in rent, I resumed looking for a job to the best of my scrambled-brained abilities. December 22nd or December 23rd, 2012. I awoke around 6 a.m. and after I made breakfast, I took a RTD ride to the Colorado Department of Labor on East 12th Avenue and waited my turn to talk to a clerk that deals with unemployment benefits. I was not eligible for those funds, and he advised me he advised me on what to do next. After that meeting, so to speak, with a Colorado Department of Labor and Employment official, so I walked to the Denver Treasury Department and I talked with someone there, and he advised me to talk with Social Services Headquarters on North Federal Boulevard. And I put in parentheses, bad area, lots of mean kooks hang out there. Well, after I got to social services headquarters, I talked with the emergency rent section. And they told me I would not be eligible until I got an eviction notice. After that, I returned upstairs and took a number. So after my number was called, I would ask for the forms needed to fill out and apply for food assistance / a SNAP food card. After I completed the forms, a clerk informed me I was eligible, meaning that I was qualified, and that he needed me to bring in certain documents on the following day. I provided the required documents. December 28th, 2012. I called the automated system for the Quest EBT SNAP food card, and the funds had been deposited. So I walked to Whole Foods and got some groceries that I needed. January 1st through the 16th of 2013. And this is a part where my life starts really going down. I didn't wind up homeless, but I was in a terrible, terrible situation. January 1st to 6th, 2013, I know I've already said them, but I'll say it again. I tried again to raise money to be able to pay rent, and I was not successful after working over 3 days on it. So I called my dad, and he agreed to let me live in his house again. And a couple of days later, I gave away Penguin and Milkshake to a lady who wanted both the cats badly, whom lived on the 4th floor. January 7th through the 14th. I sold a lot of furniture and got as much packing done as I could. And I gave a lot of things away too. And on the 14th was moving day. I helped my dad and some of his friends load up his truck and do the moving. On the 2-hour car ride to Pueblo, my dad had a pretty serious talk with me. He laid down a bunch of ground rules. January 21st through the 26th, 2013. I did a lot of job searching, and I got established with Workforce Center in downtown Pueblo. WFC is a division of the Colorado Department of Labor. June 4th, 2013. After 279 days of being unemployed, I got hired at Dollar General as a sales associate / cashier. I would only be scheduled part-time. July 13th, 2013. My 40th birthday, and I was also did job searching for a full-time job. August of 2013. Dad pressured me to look even harder for a job or I would become homeless. I don't think my dad really meant that, but he was really using some pretty tough, hard-punching tough love. Mid-October of 2013, Dad sat me down and said he was sorry for being so harsh towards me and acted distant towards me, and said he would not require me to leave the home on New Year's Day of 2014, and I could live at home as long as I wanted to, and that he would lift the restriction of disallowing me to help him clean up vacant homes, and as soon as one becomes vacant in the next few weeks, he would have me help him clean up the house. Mid-December of 2013. I was accepted at Community College of Denver, and I took a trip to Denver to go to an orientation seminar. I stayed with a friend of mine who lived in rural Aurora. Let me say that again. I stayed with a friend of mine who lived in rural Aurora, but the visit was a tough one. My AccuPlacement test results were not good. So after I returned, I took the test again. And on this test, my AccuPlacement test jumped up 17 more points. So it looked like a good thing, but things don't turn out so well. December 15th to 31st, I took the AccuPlacement test a second time, and my score jumped up 17 points. I had a nice Christmas celebration with Dad and Mary Rose and other people who came to enjoy my dad's really good cooking. January 1st to 31st of 2014. I helped Dad clean up 2 different houses. He had to evict 2 different tenants. One home on Marin Avenue and another on Pine Street. I did lots of cleaning. I even got paid $50 to help a new tenant at Marin Avenue move in. Because see, this was done after the girl had been evicted, and we did all the cleaning, and we did a little bit of maintenance, and we did some landscape work and all the things we needed to do to get the house up to snuff so it could be rented. The new tenant on Marin Avenue to move into the new husband and wife tenancy. But I was not working at Dollar Tree. Or no, excuse me, not Dollar Tree, Dollar General. Why do I keep making that mistake? The store just phased me out. No firing, no layoffs, they just stopped scheduling me. To make matters worse, I was not able to get student-sponsored housing with Community College of Denver, so I dropped out of CCD and stayed in Pueblo. February to July of 2014. Well, a disability benefits specialist law firm pressed the powers that be with the Colorado Administrative Law Judiciary to hold an appeal hearing for me in July. I helped my dad clean up another house on Rice Avenue and on Pine Street. The one on Rice Avenue was a filthy one. The guy who left was a woman beater too. I spent almost an hour vacuuming the closet where the furnace was located. That guy was a slob of all slobs. August 17th, 2014. I got a letter stating there would be an appeal hearing before an administrative law judge. And the SSA office on Parker Road in Pueblo, located in the annex section of the building, meaning the hearing was in the annex section, not in, the main office area. And the hearing was on November 12, 2014, because this is what I found out on August 17th, when I came home for a lunch break and was still searching for jobs, but this part of August 17th was near the tail end where I just stopped searching, and the next date that I'm going to bring up is where there's another turning point, in my life. September 8th, 2014, my dad sat me down for a powwow, as he liked to call it. He said my job searching efforts were not effective, and he wanted me to start doing 30 hours per week doing volunteer work. On the next day, I started doing volunteer work at a local ARC thrift store that got rewarding. Just doing that within itself. On September 20th, 2014, I helped my dad with his big birthday party. 2 days after his birthday. It was his 70th birthday. He invited over 30 people to his big birthday party, and I personally got to see a few of my dad's friends I had not seen in over 10 years. October 7, 2014. I began volunteer work at St. Mary's Corwin Hospital. I worked in the Sleep Disorder Center EEG lab area. I did lots of different types of honorary work. And I got a free lunch too for working 5 hours, 5 days a week. 5 times 5 equals 25. And that in itself was enough to impress my dad, or he didn't start going. On November 12, 2014, my third attempt to get approved for SSDI benefits. I had a hearing before an administrative law judge. I was represented by Ms. Lundy. The 50 to 60 minute hearing was effective. The hearing increased my chances of SSDI benefits. Now the next state that I'm going to state, this is a big one. Because a switch bigger than the size of this remote control device for my smart TV was flipped. Things are going to get really, really interesting. Things are going up. It's something like this. Okay. January 29th, 2015. I was informed by the Social Security headquarters that I was approved for SSDI benefits, and I met with my attorney as to when the benefits would begin. The meeting happened the next day, Friday, January 30th, 2015. Now this one is another really happy day, because that's good. This is even better, because cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. April 15th, 2015. My first direct deposit check from the SSA Treasury for my SSDI benefits was received. That gave me the decent amount of money to pay some bills and buy some things I needed. November 25th, 2015. Me, Dad, and Mary Rose took a trip to McCook, Nebraska to celebrate Thanksgiving with Uncle Dennis and Aunt Sue and my cousin Sarah Chipman Hoyt. Really shouldn't say her name, but that's her full name. She's married. She's a great woman. I got to see lots of neat parts of southwestern part of Nebraska, or what I like to call flyover country. Early February 2016. Here's another flip, big size switch was flipped, or at least medium size anyway. Early February 2016, I was informed by my dad that the money I had been giving him to save up out of my own
to move out on my own eventually was going to be invested in AT&T stock shares, and from then on to send them monthly savings to a Colorado Springs, Colorado Scottrade office. March 4th, 2016, I helped my dad sell over 12 motorcycles on eBay to one high-rolling used motorcycle dealer who lived in Appleton, Wisconsin. I got $500 for all the help I gave him. To help close the deal, I began a repayment agreement to make full restitution to Asher Investments LLP for rent that had been owed since February of 2013. May 19th through the 21st of 2016, I took my first trip to Denver in 29 months. It was nice to be back there in Denver. I took the trip for the sole purpose of being able to view apartments for rent. Well, I gave up the late afternoon of the 20th, and on the 21st I came to the GLEN apartments to have a meeting with them and see if I could work out a deal to come back and live with them again. July 6th or 7th, 2016, I was informed by Janet, a leasing agent with the GLEN Apartments, that I was approved to get an apartment that was a studio unit. And I could move in on August 12th, 2016. August 12th, 2016. Things are really starting to go up. They're shooting up almost through the roof. Okay, August 12, 2016, after spending 1,306 days in Pueblo, a town that is not desirable in lots of people's opinion, I was moving back to Denver, my home and a location I wanted badly to return to. I paid a man who was the son of a Temple Baptist Church of Pueblo senior pastor to load up his modern Ford F-150 with all my personal possessions so I could get a studio apartment back at the GLEN Apartments. August 13th through September 8th, 2016. Lots of work getting established in Denver and buying a few pieces of furniture. On September 8th, I had an exam by an endocrinologist about a major swelling in my left testicle. After the exam, I was handed a script so that I could get an ultrasound at Cherry Creek Imaging. The result of the ultrasound were that I had hydrocele cyst fluid in my left testicle. September 16, 2016. I started my own company named An Inspirational Life, and I also set up an eBay store as well. Because what I did on that day was I also filed a trade-in with the Colorado Secretary of State, because that's what you have to do. September 22nd, 2016. Went to DHHR of Denver and applied for a monthly SNAP food budget, as well as applying for an extension on Colorado Medicaid. September 29, 2016. Got my first exam at the Urology Center of Colorado by Dr. Carpenter and was promised to have the hydrocele cyst fluid drained the following week. October 7, 2016.
I had 850 cc's of hydrocele cyst drained out of my left testicle. After the procedure was done, I called my dad to tell him the good news and proceeded to have a free lunch at Johnny Rocket's restaurant at Cherry Creek Mall. The free lunch was provided by the general manager after hearing about the bad experience I received a few days beforehand. December 13th, 2016, a Toshiba satellite laptop computer died on me. The hard drive became so broken it could not be repaired. What a shame after buying it brand new in May of 2015. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you everyone for listening to this YouTube vlog, and part 5 is next. So please come back. Thank you.